Hi, and welcome to Addict in the Family, a mom and daughter conversation. We just want to thank you so much for spending your time watching us, and hopefully you get some value out of what you're listening to. If you do, please share the videos, please like and subscribe our channel, and we'd love to hear your comments and things that you'd like to know about or conversations you'd like to hear us have that might help you in your journey to recovery. Today, Melissa and I are going to be talking about recovery and methadone. Methadone is a pretty controversial drug taken by people with drug addiction. So Melissa has been on it for how long?
About 7 years on and off. The last run, I've been on it now for 3 years. I've been clean the whole time while on methadone, and I'm tapering. So my highest dose was 120 milligrams. I'm now down to 9 milligrams.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So tell me how you were introduced to methadone and what it is. How does it help you?
Well, first, I went to so many different inpatients and outpatients without medicated assisted treatment. And I went to numerous detoxes. Nothing seemed to work. Nothing seemed to help, especially after leaving treatment. And that was the hardest part. I could stay clean in treatment, but as soon as I left treatment, that's when I would start to use again. So it was kind of like a last option for me.
Okay. So did they tell you at a treatment center, or how did you hear about it?
I heard in the community, other people were doing it and they had been successful. So I wanted to give it a try.
So when someone starts methadone, what's the intention? Like, are you supposed to take it your whole life, or are you supposed to take it for 6 months?
It's supposed to be at your own pace. The purpose of it is to start it, get established in it, learn how to live sober again, and eventually get off. I mean, there are people that have and still are stay on it. Some people just use it to stay on it so they don't get sick and they continue to use. So it's all about how you use your medication. I use it as prescribed. I always have, and it actually stopped my cravings from opiates and amphetamines. So I've been really successful on it. It took me about a month to get it on a stable dose. So what they'll start you at is a lower dose, and then your body will adjust to that dose. So you go higher until you feel stable enough. Yeah.
So have people been critical to your face about you taking methadone?
Not to my face. So when I first got in recovery and I was on methadone, I would go to AA meetings and NA meetings, and there are some people, there's a lot of bias against it, but I collected my sober coins every time I hit a milestone. I wasn't ashamed, I wasn't embarrassed, and I will say to this day, methadone has saved my life completely. I'm not all knotted out, like, some people are, knotted out and stuff. But
are they abusing it at that point, or
sometimes your dose is just too high. So, yeah.
You kind of have to find your right spot, and you're working with the methadone clinic and the doctors there that are helping you get stabilized?
Yes.
I can say, when Melissa first told me, she was in her early 20s that she wanted to take, or maybe mid 20s, that she wanted to try methadone. And I knew that was the first time I'd heard of the term methadone. Now, growing up, I'd heard about antabuse, which is taken by alcoholics, and they will get violently sick if they drink on antabuse. So I kind of, when she started telling me what the purpose of taking it was for, that's kind of what it reminded me of. And I said, okay, if this can help, let's try it. Let's do it. And then I had been in a counseling session with her in a group of people, and someone asked me how I felt about methadone. And I explained what I just said and said, I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm here to try to help my child find something that's going to help her not use a needle and stay off hardcore drugs. Understanding it's still a drug, but also understanding that it's regulated and she has to go in every day to take it. It's a lot of work to actually take methadone.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by how shocked people were that I was okay with her taking methadone. And I can tell you, with family and friends, I've had to defend the fact that she takes it, because I also am not ashamed that you're on methadone.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, if this is what it takes to help you stay away from that lifestyle and using those drugs, then it is worth it in a controlled, proper way.
And it's totally not the same. Like, if you saw me before on heroin, it's a complete turnaround. It helped me to become stable and learn how to live life sober. And that's what I needed. And so after 3 years, after 2 years, I started tapering. I've been tapering for over a year. And there was like one bump in the road since I started my taper, to where I felt a little sick. So I just slowed it down. And at my clinic, I'm actually on monthlies. So I go in once a month because I've had clean UAs for over 3 years. So you get to go, you get privileges when you are compliant with the program and stuff. So it's really worked for me. And I feel like anybody in recovery who's going to be judgmental to somebody else, that doesn't help anybody. We are all suffering from the same thing, addiction, and it kills people. And anything that somebody can do to make it to where they don't die is so worth it. And everybody needs to stop being so judgmental when it comes to medicated assisted treatment. It can save lives.
So let's talk a little bit about finding a job. So talk a little bit about the industry you're working in, and as you were looking for a job in that industry, if methadone had any kind of, if that played a role in what kind of a job you could actually get.
Well, I applied for a parent mentor position, which our company, we get referrals from DHS Child Welfare, and men and women are hooked up with men and women. Like, I only serve moms, and I help them through their DHS case. So when I first got hired, I did this huge panel interview, a couple of them, about 15 people or so. And from what I heard, they never hired somebody on medicated assisted treatment. Yeah. So what our organization was trying to do was support any pathway to recovery. So I was told that they actually went to do training and look at methadone clinics before they even hired me and welcomed me there. So people would have a different view. Even people in recovery, and all the mentors that we have are in recovery. And yeah, so it was pretty cool. And they hired somebody right after me who's on Suboxone. So, we're making changes, and I just think it's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Now talk a little bit about Suboxone. What's the difference?
Saying it wrong. Suboxone.
Suboxone. Sorry. Corrected.
Suboxone is a strip. It's a strip, and you put it under your tongue, and it works the same way from what I'm told. I was on it for maybe about a week, but that didn't last very long. Suboxone is different because you go in to see a doctor and they give you a bunch of strips, so it's really hard for you to stay sober, because I sold mine. So I needed somewhere where it was stable. I went in every day. They watched me take it. That's what I needed. So that didn't work for me.
The accountability.
Yeah, that didn't work for me, but I've seen many people where it works for them.
For sure.
Yeah, there are a lot of success stories with the Suboxone too.
Sure. So if someone was interested in looking into a methadone program, what would you recommend they do?
You look for clinics in your area, and you call and say you'd like an intake, and you go in and do the intake.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you've tried to get off, now I know in the past when you were trying to get off methadone, I know you even had it in your head that I don't want to have to go in and get this medication. I would like to be off of it. So what happened the first couple of times you tried to be off methadone?
The first time I walked off at 10 milligrams, the lines were so long. The place I was going to, it's not like that anymore where I go. But the lines were so long, and it was really chaotic to go there every day. And I walked off at 10 thinking I was strong enough to do it, and I wasn't, and I ended up having a relapse, and I was already like a year and a half clean at that point. The second time, my last relapse, I was living a life of recovery. I had, I think, 2.5 years clean, and I was trying to take care of my old warrant. I found out I had an old warrant from not paying a fine. So I went to go turn myself in, and I thought they would release me the same day, and they held me for 2 weeks. Longest time I did in jail, and it was horrible. But I got very lucky. I never went to prison, but yeah. And then when I got out of jail, I was so sick. As soon as you get sick and you have those old feelings, it was really hard. And then I had to do another intake to get back into the program, and I did that, and I was clean again after a month. So, yeah.
You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
I know that methadone is looked as a crutch to some people, and I get that. I get that thought, but it is so much better than the lifestyle on drugs. Mm-hmm. Melissa's lifestyle is not like an addict anymore. She doesn't live like that. She has changed her entire life, and methadone has been key in helping her be able to do that. And after the second relapse off methadone, I told Melissa, stop trying and stop worrying about getting off methadone. Yeah. You need to let it go. If that is what keeps you clean, who gives a flying fuck? Do what keeps you clean. It's not about what someone else thinks or what, any other judgment or even, the conviction you have about it. It'll work itself out in time. Yeah. That's kind of how I felt about it. And so then when she got on it this time, and, she has over 3 years now, and she's told me she was starting to taper, I about had a heart attack. And I'm like, no, don't do that, because every time you do, you relapse. And so I was terrified. And then I realized, I have to trust her. I have to trust that, she knows what she's doing. She's already relapsed after, she's had these experiences already. So hopefully she won't do too much too fast. Yeah. That she'll know when that stopping point is. Yeah. And then maintain.
Yeah. And it's like my work, I'm involved with the recovery community. I help these moms. I want to be an example to them. And it's, my dream is to help others who were in my situation. So I feel like I've never had all that support around me, and I'm going really slow. And I wouldn't rush off, but the thing is, I can only be on state insurance for so long. Once you start making too much money, it's going to cost me $400 a month. It's unaffordable. I can't afford it, and so I feel a little bit of pressure. With 3 kids, with 2 kids, and then my nephew who lives with me. I still qualify to get help from the state for state insurance, but when I get my raise, I will probably not qualify anymore.
So how long what's your goal at this point?
My goal is a year. So I give myself 1 year, and I'm at 9 milligrams now, and I'm just taking it really slow. I'm not going to feel any pressure, and if I start to feel sick, I'm going to hold or even go up if I need to. But that's the thing I love about my clinic. They let me do it at my pace. I have so much support, and if I felt sick, I'd be going up, but I don't. I feel good. So
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done amazing. Yeah. And yes, you do have amazing people and organizations supporting you, so that's terrific. Yeah. So anyway, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that I think everyone should have an open mind, especially if you have a loved one suffering from addiction. Just support them and even make suggestions. Just always be open-minded, because you will do anything to save them. So let them do what they need to do to get saved.
Without judgment.
Yeah. And just love them.
Just love. Yeah, I agree. Just love them. And you could be sitting here today, just like we are. Yeah. Someday, just like we are. Yeah. We can get through it. You can get through it. Yes. You can fucking do this. That's my motto, is you can do this. Yes. And trust me, if we can, anyone can. Thank you for watching, and please, again, leave your comments and like and subscribe to our channel and share with your friends and family if you find any value.